What is going on, guys? MMA Island team. We got the fight picks, and in this one, we got UFC 254. Un Jung coming back and taking on Smiling Sam Alvey. Interesting fight, man. Looking at the light heavyweight division, I think, man, the first fight I can really remember, I think it was the first fight back from the big break the UFC took with coronavirus. The first fight back, Ryan Spann, Sam Alvey. And I picked Ryan Spann to win that fight. Ryan Spann did win the fight, but did he really? That's one thing that I'm going to ask people because Sam Alvey,
Yes.
great comeback in the second and third round, if I do remember that correctly. You think Ryan Spann won like
I
completely?
thought he won 1 and 2.
Fair enough. So it was a very good rally from Sam Alvey, and he seemed to be pretty upset when he lost, as he typically
He always
always
is.
is. He always is, yep. Not so much smiling when he loses the decisions and all that. But talking about Un Jung, man, you look at Mike Rodriguez and how awesome that dude has looked outside of, I guess you could say, the Ed Herman fight, which should go down as a second-round TKO.
I want Chris Tione's head for that.
Goes as a third round Kimura win for Ed Herman, and that was such a crazy experience, that whole armbar. But yeah, blasted Mike Rodriguez in the first round, which has never happened in Mike Rodriguez's career. So Un Jung packs a little bit of a punch. Talking about Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey is primarily a guy who either knocks you out or wins via decision or loses via decision. So taking away those three things, not being able to knock out Sam Alvey, not being able to submit Sam Alvey, and Sam Alvey not being able to submit you, I'm going to lean towards Sam Alvey in this one, believe it or not. So there's a couple reasons for it. So the main thing is that Un Jung typically wins via finish. His last decision win comes from Ryo Sakai in 2017 in TFC. Going up against Sam Alvey, man, Ryan Spann is on a was, I guess I should say, from the Johnny Walker finish, elbows to the back of the head, UFC, was on an 8-fight win streak at the time. So, and man, Sam Alvey, it was a really good rally from him in the third round, and I was kind of biting my nails because I picked Ryan Spann to win the fight, it being the first fight of the night. I hate getting the first fight of the night wrong.
Yep, me too.
So I was biting my nails, but got the win for Ryan Spann. And that's the thing, man. I value Ryan Spann. I think Ryan Spann is a step up from Un Jung at the moment. I actually think that would be a great fight to make following this fight. If Sam Alvey was able to get the win, or maybe if Un Jung wins, you can get him Ryan Spann. Either way, I think that's a great matchup regardless of the result of this fight. I don't see Un Jung being able to finish Sam Alvey. That's the thing. That's really what it comes down to for me in this fight. Getting the decision, I think I'm going to go with Sam Alvey because as we saw, Sam Alvey's able to rally. We saw him do it against one of the top fighters in the division, and Ryan Spann, maybe not top fighters of the division. I'd say maybe top 20, top 15. Ryan Spann is a very good fighter is the point I'm trying to make, and Sam Alvey looked very good in the late rounds, which if you're looking good in the late rounds, it's kind of scary to pick against guys who can look good in late rounds because as we know, gas tank is very, very important. Shout out Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. I will save that talk for the main event, though. So, yeah, point is, man, I just don't see Un Jung being able to finish Sam Alvey. Obviously, Un Jung packs a crazy punch, got the power, 10 of his 13 wins coming via KO. And then obviously submitting Khadis Ibrahimov, one of the greatest fighters in UFC history, Khadis Ibrahimov. Point is, man, I don't see Sam Alvey being able to, or Un Jung being able to finish Sam Alvey, but maybe Zach can prove me wrong. I'll pass it on to him.
So, yeah, I'm going to pick Un Jung because it's kind of a sin to pick Sam Alvey. Now, anyways, as much as a likable guy as he is before the fights and, after the fights when he complains about literally everything, like he could have his head bounced around like a basketball on the canvas and he'll still complain that the stoppage is too early. But what I would like to say about Sam Alvey is he is the kind of the token of the bygone era of the light heavyweight division. He is the guy that has very little technique, but he just goes forward and he's just going to try and knock you out. He doesn't really excel at one thing, but he has power. And it's just kind of fun. I don't know how to describe it, but he's going up against Un Jung. And I don't know. I just noticed that you rarely ever see Asian fighters in the higher weight classes. And Un Jung might be the first one I can think of. But I've been very impressed by him in his 2 fights in the UFC so far. I mean, yes, going the distance with Khadis Ibrahimov is not the best
Oh,
look.
well, he submitted him. He submitted
Well,
him
yes,
to
okay, yes, that's true.
standing
But I was
guillotine.
at the end of the 3rd round, though, and he was getting outstruck. So
Yep.
I'm saying going that far in a
Yeah,
fight with
gotcha.
Khadis Ibrahimov is not a good look. But then he goes out and he just nukes Mike Rodriguez. And that's one of the more insane knockouts that I've ever seen. Now, he has submission ability and he has power. And he has a little bit of technique and he likes to throw with a lot of volume. And that just, if a fighter has one, like a special talent, like any like kind of technique within the striking or just anything, I will favor them over Sam Alvey. He has not looked the best as of late, and his last wins are over Volante and Prachnio back in 2018. Now, he has not won since then, and while you can look at the level of competition, say it's pretty high, minus Klidson Abreu, I don't know. I don't think I can give this fight in any good conscience to Sam Alvey because, you know, he has a negative strike differential. That's one thing I never like to see. Yes, Un Jung has one, but that's 2 UFC fights, so you can't really take that with anything. If this fight's not going to go to the ground at all, Sam Alvey, within all of his UFC fights, has a hilarious 0.08 takedowns per fight. It's just one of the more funny stats I've ever seen. But I think that the striking technique of Un Jung, the power of Un Jung, and just pretty much everything, the footwork, the movement, gives me the ability to pick him, and I'm going to pick him for this fight.
Fair enough. It's definitely a good pick to pick Un Jung. Obviously, Sam Alvey coming off of a four fight losing streak at the moment, and then Un Jung obviously being 13-2. Looking at the record and the streak wise, I think putting those two into play rather than record alone is something that you can make a case off of. But going to be going with the veteran on this one, and Zach here is going to be going with Un Jung. So as I mentioned all the time, you guys know what that means. You got to break the tie, letting us know who you got in the comments. This is a very, very good fight. This card is loaded with them. Hopefully they all stay on, as I mentioned. Yeah, the point is, man, just make sure you guys are letting us know your support, letting us know who you got, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and make sure you guys are checking out the other Fight Pick videos.